The ballroom was drenched in gold crystal chandeliers, silk, draped walls, and the low hum of billion-dollar conversations floating like perfume in the air. This wasn't just a gala. This was a battlefield of power. Politicians smiled too wide, investors shook hands too firmly, and egos were measured by net worth instead of character. At the center of it all stood Marcus Ellison, a black CEO whose calm presence cut through the noise. He wore a tailored charcoal suit, his posture straight, his expression unreadable. Few people in the room knew his story, how he'd built a tech empire from nothing, how he'd slept in his car while coding, how every step forward had been earned through fire. Across the room, Veronica Hale, the billionaire's wife, watched him with thinly veiled disdain. Her family name carried weight: old money, legacy contracts, private jets. To her, Marcus didn't belong here. She whispered to her circle, laughter spilling out like poison. When Marcus was introduced as the final decision maker for a historic $1 billion global expansion deal, the room shifted. Power recalibrated. Veronica's smile tightened. As Marcus passed her table, she stood abruptly, wine glass in hand. "Excuse me," she said loudly, drawing eyes. Before he could respond, she tilted the glass, red wine spilling down his suit like a public sentence. Gasps filled the room. Silence followed. "I'm so sorry," she said, "not sorry at all. These events can be confusing. Some people forget their place." Marcus looked down at his stained suit, then back at her. His voice was steady, calm, deadly. "It's all right," he said. "Accidents reveal more than intentions ever could." The room didn't breathe. Veronica laughed it off, already turning away confident, untouchable. She had no idea that in that exact moment, her family's empire was beginning to collapse. Seconds later, Marcus reached into his jacket. Not for anger, not for revenge, but for his phone. Across the room, executives noticed. Phones came out, whispers reignited. The lead attorney for the deal froze mid-sip. Veronica's husband, Richard Hale, finally sensed something was wrong. Marcus stepped onto the stage when invited to speak. He didn't mention the wine. He didn't mention the insult. Instead, he spoke about values, about partnerships built on respect, about the kind of leadership the future demands. His words were calm, but every sentence landed like a verdict. Then he paused. "Our company has finalized its decision regarding the global expansion contract," he said. "After careful consideration, we've chosen to withdraw from negotiations with the Hale Consortium, effective immediately." The room exploded. Richard Hale stood up, face drained of color. Veronica's smile shattered. "You can't do that," she whispered. "This deal is done." Marcus met her eyes for the first time since the spill. "It was," he said, "until your character spoke louder than your resume." Screens behind him lit up. Alternative partners announced. Signatures already completed. The deal was gone. $1 billion evaporated in seconds. Security quietly escorted the Hales out as cameras flashed. By morning, headlines would frame it as a strategic shift. But everyone in that room knew the truth. Disrespect has consequences. Marcus changed his suit. He didn't change his posture. He didn't change his purpose. And here's the real lesson. Power doesn't shout, it decides.